Hey there, Heather. Hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Dime. Welcome you back to another Stone Cold Hockey 1974-75 Philadelphia Flyers video. We're in the playoffs. We're now in the semifinals. Give you a bit of a regular season recap. The New York Islanders won the Patrick Division. Vancouver won the Smythe. Buffalo the Adams, and Montreal the Norris, meaning that all four those teams would get qualifying for the quarterfinals automatically. The other 12 teams, based off of points, would fight each other in the preliminary round. The Flyers, 108 points, would have been ahead of everyone, Vancouver and Buffalo. Anyway, Bobby Schmaltz leads with 6 goals. I think Boston was in the preliminary rounds. Points wise, Esposito and Orr lead. Bobby Clark's fourth from that. Brady Prawn's got the best goals against of anyone left. Dryden, Frachon, Joseph, and Gary Smith. In the playoffs, in the preliminary round, we had a massive hiccup in Toronto, losing that game, but we won 3-1 at home. LA swept St. Louis's side, Pittsburgh swept Chicago's side, and the Rangers and Bruins played, but Bruins went on. In the quarterfinals, Montreal had trouble with Vancouver. They were down 2-1, but Ken Dryden and Buddy Larocque have been wonderful. Montreal's only gave up 2 goals in the final 3 games. Islanders Boston was 2-0. Boston forced a game 7, but the Islanders won on home turf. We played Pittsburgh. We only had one hiccup. That was game 4, but no big deal because we won game 5, 5-1. And the Buffalo Sabres, the 4 seed, they were up 2-0 on LA, but somehow forgot to win. And the Kings actually won 4 straight games by 1 goal. So that means LA heads to Montreal, and it's Islanders Philly. So Rogie Vachon, the Kings goalie, the main goalie for the Kings, he's going back to Montreal. He used to play for Montreal, won a few cups with the Habitants, and then, of course, was pushed out for Ken Dryden. Islanders and Philly, of course, division rivals. And we met in the 1975 Islanders. Flyers did meet in the semifinals in 75 for real, but the Islanders weren't that good. Anyway, Montreal LA game 1 sees Montreal easily win 6-2 as Fajon gets beaten by Dryden, winning his second and Williams his second. Montreal goes to Lafleur, Lambert, Peter Mahovlich still around, Glenn Saver, yes, that Glenn Saver, Steve Shutt, and Jacques Lemaire. 6 different halves. Now we play game 1 against the Islanders in New York. They go with Billy Smith. We go with Wayne Stevenson. Kind of a weird move, but Perron's not ready, so Wayne Stevenson will come in to face Billy Smith. The Hatch minutes to come. Chico Resch was the main goalie for the 75 playoff run. Well, after the Islanders were down 3-0 to Pittsburgh in quarterfinals in real life, when the Islanders reverse swept the Penguins and then almost reverse swept the Flyers, but lost game 7. Bobby Nystrom, who 5 years later would score one of the most famous cup-winning goals of all time, is there. Billy Harris, the former #1 pick of the Islanders in 1972, the first ever draft pick. Clark Gillies, a rookie for the 74-75 team. Ed Westfall, former Bruins icon. Danny Potvin, who the Islanders refused to trade the rights to. Montreal wanted to give him 5 players. Well, the Islanders were like, no, we're going to rebuild. And it worked. Jerry Howlett, Ralph Stewart, Bobby Bourne, underrated player. Andre Saint Laurent, Holy Saint Laurent. Drew Drouin and J.P. Perez brought him from the North Stars. Big move there. As you know, Drouin was a decent player, and J.P. Perez scored that overtime goal in 11 seconds in regulation, in real life against the Rangers. Billy McMillan, future Flaming Leaf. Sean Potvin, Dennis Butler. Dave Fortier, Dave Lewis, the future Red Wings coach, and the guy who was traded to LA for the one of Butch Goring in one of the first, what they call trade deadline moves. Lauren Henning was around, Jerry Hart, Bert Marshall, and Walt Lanningham. Flyers, we have the Riverton rifle Reggie Leach, Rick McLeish, Bill Barber, Kitchener, Bobby Clark, our captain, Russ Lonsberry, Bill Clement, who did commentating for ABC. Gary Dornhofer did the same for CBC. And Andre Moose Dupont thought he scored a game-winning goal, cup-winning goal on NBC. The one in 1974, however, it was not meant to be, and the goal was given to McLeish. Bob Hamkowie, Ars Kindrachuk, Don Big Bird Zaleski, Tom Blades Bladen, Dave the Hammer Schultz, colorful nicknames, Terry Crisp, coach of the 89 Flames when they win the cup, the Watsons, Jimmy and Joe, Larry Goodenow, Ad Van Imp, who was known for his big hits, Ted Harris, Bob Sawyer, Serge Lachoise, and Jack McLeany. team's delivery hit. 3 minutes there, a fight. And it's Moose and Howitt. So that kind of works, but yeah, Moose DuPont's out of action for a while. In the meantime, the others have a chance. Saint Laurent, yes sir. Punch. Much later. Aggression. They get through this. It's really hard for 2. Do we take advantage? Reach gets hit. Shutsky or Papa Power Play Go. Baby on board. How I adore. Kitchener. Bill Barber his 3rd from Bobby Clark. Bill Barber, I don't know how many former Kitchener Rangers are in the Hall of Fame. I think like 15. I don't know. 4 minutes later, aggression. Chance for Bill Barber. Ah, frick. Much later. We're trying to kill the clock, I think. Got it? Ah, oh, third penalty. Right. Oh, it doesn't tell you if a shot or Denny. Power play. No shot. Take a shot. Ah, Clement. Much later. The agitator. We got agitated. Terry Crisp. Howitt from Nystrom and Stewart. 1-1. 40 minutes. As a reminder, overtime is played in the playoffs. If we go that far. 3 minutes later. Chance for the Islanders? No. Much later. A fight, and it's Dave the Hammer against Clark Gillies. Well, Gillies is tough, you know what. Aggression? The Islanders are aggressive, a little too aggressive. And it's going to be caught that in the box. I don't know which one. And for Clark, let's go. Papa Purple goal. There's a Riverton rifle. His 2nd from Dornhofer. 2-1 Flyers. Everyone's back to normal. Empty nets are coming up. And it doesn't matter. We win 2-1. A close one. Wayne Stevenson did his job. Sure, we gave up a goal to Jerry Howitt, but Barber and Leach scored for us 2-1. Game 2, LA Montreal. And it will be Montreal winning 3-1. Bunny LaRock beats Vachon. Williams scored for LA. LaFleur scoring twice. Serge Savard finally scoring on the goal. Part of the big 3. So we go to game 2. We have Stevenson in the net against Billy Smith. Don't know what's wrong with Bernie. 4 minutes later. That's for Luge. Oof. Another 4. Let's get Bert to a Crisp. Terry Crisp, that is. His 2nd from Reggie Leach. That's not. All right. We get back to score. Baby on board, how I adore. Kitchener. Barbershop Quartet. His 4th from Clark. 4 minutes later. They take a shot? No. And Bladen gets hacked by Nystrom. Can we take advantage? Nick Clement? No. Milojetsky. Pop-up power play goal. Kitchener. His 2nd from Kelly and Ted Harris getting a point. 3-0. Well, we're looking pretty decent. 3-0, but anything can happen. Much later. We got agitated. McLeish goes to the box. But we kill it on Drouin and Putton. Another penalty. Ted Harris. They score. Drouin from Gillies and Putton. 2-1 Flyers. 2 minutes later. Got it? The other team, Flyers. Dave the Hammer, of course. And they score. Dave Lewis from Marshall and Drouin. Oh boy. Out of the box. Much later. We have a chance. Oh, he's in the auto zone now. 3-2. I have a bad feeling we're going to be fucked. Well, we got to look at 5 minutes later. Shot skiers. Well, I was wrong. The Riverton rifle has 3rd from Kinderchuk and Moose DuPont. 4-2. 2 minutes later. Agitator? We got agitated. It's Zaleski. And they score Ralph Stewart from Paris with 4-3. 4-3 for them. 1 minute later. Cancel. We try to make it 5 and we can't. Much later. Others take a chance. No. Battle split. Lives on Moose DuPont, so he's out for the rest of the period. Now the others can score as many as they can. And we kill them off, and somehow, in some way, we win 4-3. Thank God for that Reggie Leach goal. We win the game 4-3 and now are halfway there. So we go to the Islanders and show we're not scared and beat those guys. Bill Barber with a pair, Leach and Crisp at the singles. We're up 2-0. Game 3 sees Montreal crush LA 4-1 as Bunny LaRock in net. Gary Everts comes in net but can't do anything. Murdoch scored for LA, the future head coach of the Jets. Lafleur, Cournoyer, Petey Mahovlich, and Yvan Lambert with the goals from Montreal. They're looking damn good. Game 3, we'll see Bobby Taylor in that against Billy Smith. Perron must have suffered some kind of injury. Bobby Taylor's in net. Well, I say niet. Wayne Stevenson. If Stevenson had lost game 2, I probably would put Bobby Taylor in. But because Wayne Stevenson has been our main guy, I'm putting him in net. And now let's go Phillies. Baby on board, how I adore Kitchener. His 6th of the postseason. I think it's the 4th. Yeah, it's the 4th of the series because he scored a goal, then 2, then 1 from Clark and Crisp. Much later. Oh, we got Clark trying to ruin their fun, but no. Go with it. Much later. Agitator? We got agitated. Hammer. Damn you. Kensky or Dennis Potvin from John and Jerry Hart makes it 1-1, of course. We can't take them penalties. Last moments of the first period. McKinnon cannot score. We're tied at 1 through 20. Much later. Sunny days, the clouds away. Islanders are gonna get their butts hurt. As what it is to see down on Broad Street. Zaleski, his second. Big Bird does his job. Phantom and Lonsberry with the assist. Again, we have a chance to kill the clock. 3 minutes. Now let's take a shot. No. 2 minutes later. Hopper from Van Impen just the net. Finally connects. Van Impen 2 assists. Not about the defense. We're up 3-1. 4 minutes later. No chance. Barber. Oh, I tried to go for number 2. Oh, hit. 4 more minutes. Shot, no. We're just killing the clock. We're getting penalty. Barber, damn you. They score. Billy Harris has 4 from Westfall, and Denny Potvin makes it 3-2. Oh boy, now we're in trouble. Empty net. Time, empty net. And we survive again. 3-2, we win. So we survive the Islanders' chances. Barber, Zaleski, and Dornhofer for us. Potvin and Harris for them. 3-2. So you have 2-1, 4-3, 3-2. Everything's big. Will Montreal sweep LA? No, overtime. LA was up 2-0 on goals by Mike Murphy and Dan Maloney, excuse me. No, Dave Maloney. No, Dan Maloney, sorry. Montreal made it 3 straight. Bob Gainey, Jacques Lemaire, and Murray Wilson. Remember him, guys? Mike Murphy made it 3-3. And then overtime, Bob Barry from Maloney and St. Marcel. They get 4-3, and Bunny loses. And we have to go to a game 5. I feel bad for Montreal. Not. All right, so can we sweep the Islanders? And it's gonna be Bernie versus Chico. So if Bernie's okay, he's ready to play game 4. He'll face Chico. I tell Bernie, you better win this game because we might go with Stevenson for game 5. 4 minutes later. We have a chance? No, it's up. Ralph Stewart trying to test Bernie out. He's good! You're really nothing but a hound dog crying over the time. You just scored a big goal, the others, and you ain't no friend of mine. Da 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 da. Hound Kelly from Kindrack. You meant to. Yours! Bertrand Chris from Gillespie and DuPont. Terry Chris third. 2-0 Flyers. 3 minutes later. They score. Jerry Howlett. His third from Dave Lewis and Danny Potvin. 2-1. Oh boy. Put the pressure. Fifth goal. Oh, captain by captain. 3-1. Much later. They have a chance? They do it. Danny Potvin, his second point of the night from JP Parise. Danny Potvin's going to be just a thorn in our sides. And we can't do anything about it. 2 minutes later, nothing. We tried. 5 goals in the first 20 minutes. And we only had 5 goals last game in 60 minutes. We're fighting. Good goal! Moose Yukon from Schultz and Cinderchuck. Wow, the fighters. Much later. Moose. Damn you, Moose. No shot. Chance for Achilles. No. Achilles cannot do it. 4 minutes later. We got another penalty. They're pushing her left. 4, no. But they score. J.P. Parise from Bert Marshall makes it 4-3. Oh boy. To kill the clock. Lonsbury tries to score, but it's 4-3 after 40 minutes. High scoring. 3 minutes later. Chance for Lonsbury. Fuck. No chance for us. Like leash. No. 3 minutes later. Yes, we got a penalty. Nice drum. And the others are like, we're fucked. We're gonna keep rushing the net. Might as well. Hey, we just Billy Harris. Oh no, you didn't. And you have a chance. Bobby Clark. No. Trying to ice it. Can't do it. Another chance. Leach. No. We have another chance. Clark. Now comes the time. Again. And in big Clark. Ices it. We do. We sweep the New York Islanders aside 6-3. Bernie Perron should be lucky. Man, what a game we had. 5 goals in the first period and then 2 for both the third and second periods. Both teams scoring. Well, there were only 3 penalties. There were no fighting. Philly, we played clean, no fight hockey. We beat Chico and the man. Billy Smith just couldn't do it. Wayne Stevenson with 3 wins, but Perron will be back. Perron says, I'm back. Thank goodness for that. Stevenson was ready to start game 5. But we win the game 6-3. Kelly, Crisp, DuPont, Clark, and Leach were the goals. And yeah, this is the first game of the series that no Bill Barber goals. No Bill Barber assists either. Kendrick had a pair of assists. Selesky a pair of assists. Moose DuPont a pair of assists. So we win 6-3. We sweep the Islanders. It's like the Islanders. I checked my Islanders stats. We were 1, 2, and 3 against them. So we only won 1 out of 6 games against the Islanders with 3 ties. And we sweep the fucking Islanders. Every game except for game 4 was a 1-goal game. Does Montreal win game 5? No, they don't. LA wins 3-2. Bunny LaRock loses to Vachon. Montreal goals by Shut and Lafleur, but Corrigan, St. Marcel, and Barry with the goals. Future Montreal coach. Game 6? You gotta be joking. LA is winning 1-4-3. Dre loses to Vachon. Montreal goals by Lapointe, Shut, and Yavan. There. LA goes by Williams, Vanesky, Goring, and Mike Murphy, future Leaf head coach. So the Habs were up 3-0, and it looked like the Kings couldn't do anything. 4 goals in 3 games, but they scored 4 in game 4 to win, and then 3 and 4. How much time do we have? We have plenty of time. Let's do game 7. Game 7 will have Bunny LaRock versus Gary Everts in the net, the battle of the backups. Kings have Bob Nevin, former Ranger and Leaf. Mike Murphy, future head coach of the Leafs. Dan Maloney, future Leafs head coach and Leaf player. Butch Goring, who was sent to the Islanders in what they call the first ever trade deadline move, major move. Juha Whitting from Finland. I think it was from Sweden too. I think it's from Sweden. Bob Berry, future Habs head coach. Tom Williams, not the Tom Williams who was an American icon. Frank St. Messiah, former Blues icon from the 68th season. Don Kozak, Bob Murdoch, who would later coach the Blackhawks and Jets. Mike Corrigan, Gene Carr, former Blue. Terry Harper, former Habiton. Neil Komodowski, Sheldon Kitchener. Look it up, people. Larry Brown, not the head coach. Vic Vanetsky, and Dave Hutchinson. Other side of the coin, Montreal, the power of Guy Lafleur. This was the first season after he decided to discard his freaking helmet. He played the first 3 years as a player in the NHL with a bucket, then decided to discard it and his long flowing blonde hair. Up down. Jacques Lemaire, who would later become head coach of the Devils with the neutral zone trap and the winner of the 1976 Stanley Cup with that overtime goal. Pistol Pete Mahovlich, former Red Wing, who's still around, and future Penguin, I think. Yvan Lambert, who 4 years later would score a famous Game 7 overtime goal against the Bruins to get the Habs to the final, and then he basically said, for 24 hours, I was more famous than Guy Lafleur. Steve Shutt, one of the most prolific left-wing goal scorers ever. Yvon Roadrunner Cournoyer. I know this was not his last season. 4 years later, he would play his final year. Guy Pointu Lapointe, Murray Wilson, forgettable, I guess, in a sense. Mario Tremblay, kind of hate that guy so much. Serge, the Senator Savard, Bob Gainey, his defensive forward stuff, won the first 4 Frank Selke awards for defensive forward. He won it. And basically, even the Russian coaches thought Bob Gainey was a pain in the neck. Doug Ricebrill, Kitchener. Larry Robinson, Kitchener. Glenn Xavier, thank God he's not from Kitchener. Didn't play for the Kitchener Rangers. But yeah, that Glenn Xavier, the guy who would be dynasty for the all others and giving Ranger fans fits. Jimmy Roberts, not the tennis commentator. Henri Pocket Rocket Richard, this was his final year. Pierre Bouchard, who would be an enforcer, but then he got his butt handed in a fight by Stan Jonovan. Don Ulrey, defenseman John Van Boxmeer, Glenn Goldup, and Rick Chartrell, who actually was a Kitchener Ranger. Montreal taking a shot. Now remember, this is game 7. Double hit. Much later. Habs, no. 3-6 Chusky or Danny Maloney from Bob Berry. It's now 1-0 Kings. Are you serious? 3 minutes later. He gets another chance, but misses. Don Ulrey. And the big steal, Pepper Parabolic goal, Mike Murphy, double M, his 7th from Goring and Corrigan. And the Kings have a 2-0 lead on the Habs. Are you serious? The Montreal Canadiens will fall to the LA freaking Kings? This is inconceivable. 4 minutes later. Nothing for Montreal. That's 50 yards. Couple punches. The score from Lambert and Richard. Richard's not going out like that. And also Bob. 5 minutes later. Kings? No. Much later. Enforcer? Aggression? Only 2 hits, but no penalty. And the Kings are 20 minutes away from eliminating the Montreal Canadiens after being down 3-0, and everyone thought Montreal was going to crush it and go to the Stanley Cup Finals. And basically, it's a Montreal-Philadelphia final from 1975. 3 minutes later. Action by Harper. Montreal did get to the semifinals in real life, but they lost to Buffalo. 2 minutes later. Enforcement? No problem. 3 minutes later. Split? Pressure? With a major on LA, it's Murdoch. Montreal can score as many goals as they can in 5 minutes. It'll still be a power play no matter what. They've been killed. Okay. It's Rory Lambert. No. Pepper goes. He shut the door on you. His 9th from 29 and 22. It's a 2-2. There's still 2 minutes. And LA kills it off. Adolfito is punching his second of the night from Savard and Lemaire. It's now 3-2. LA was looking so good. Now it's time for the empty nets. And panic sets Los Angeles a fumble, and the third period, Montreal wins on form ice, and Los Angeles was one period away from forcing a massive reverse sweep and a game against the Flyers. So it's like, how have we done against Los Angeles? I don't know, but the Kings were so close to the Stanley Cup Finals, and Montreal beats them 3-2. Kings were up 2-0, and for the first 25 minutes of the game, they had it in their hands, but they just couldn't do anything about it. Murdoch got the major for slashing. They only scored one goal off of it with Steve Shutt to tie it, but then Point Two does his job. Point Two with 2 goals and assists. He stepped up to the plate. It is Montreal, Philadelphia. We, of course, have to play in Montreal because they have more points, and they were the division winners. So the Los Angeles Kings, Rogie 5-4, Gary Edwards 4-2, Bob Nevin 13 points. I just want to know how many games they played against us. They were our first. They were our first victims in that 9-0-1 start. We beat them 5-1. Then we tied them. That was the when in our first 10 games. That was the only tie was against Los Angeles. So they were 0-1 against us. And then they beat us January 4th, 1-1-1. And then I think that was it, right? No. And then we went at home, and then we lost 2-1. We were 1-2-1 against the Kings. Well, the Kings had 105 points. We had 108, so we would have hosted. So yeah, we had trouble with the Kings, but then again, we had trouble with the Islanders. Only winning once in 6 games. Goal scoring: Steve Shaw has 9. Mike Murphy, Bob Barry, and Guy Lafleur with 7. Bill Barber leads us with 6. Points wise, Point Two with 16, Lemaire 15, Clark with 15. If it wasn't for LaPointe's big game, I think Bobby Clark would have it. Brady Perron behind Bunny LaRock and Chico Resch for goals against. I mean, Stevenson had to step up for the first 3 games for some fucked up reason. So Montreal, they beat Vancouver in 6. They had tough time. LA almost screwed them over. Dryden 4-3, Bunny 4-2 with a 1.82 goals against. Point Two with 16 points. Lemaire shut. Larry Robinson with 11 points. Pocket Rocket with 2 points. Both assists. For us in the playoffs, Perron 6-2, Stevenson 4-0. Nice job by him. Clark with 15 points, Barber with 13. Bladen, Joe Watson, and Ted Harris with assists. And Joe Watson did score a goal. Bladen and Harris, their only point have been assists. Bladen, that's weird. We had to go to the preliminary round to beat Toronto. We crushed Pittsburgh and we crushed the Islanders. So somehow, in some way, we're getting rewarded. This is going to be creepy. But the Stanley Cup Finals away. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.